Good day, it's JJ MMA. Today we're going to be doing some fight predictions for the Apex Slop card that's going on this weekend. Now I'm playing. This is actually a pretty good Apex card. Some underrated fights on here. You know, we got some good prospect fights. Some fights relative to the rankings. We're going to start with the early prelims, finish with the main event. And to start off, we got Talita Alencar versus Julia Polastri. So, you know, I don't want to give you guys too much reasoning on this one. You know, I don't know either one. I don't know anything about either one of these girls. However, you know, I'm going to go with Talita Alencar here. I think she's a pretty good underdog pick. You know, they got her at plus 205. I think she's probably going to win. She's got a grappling build compared to Julia Polastri. Better record, 7-1-1. Both are coming off a win. There's a reach discrepancy, 58.5 to 63.5. But yeah, I mean, I got Talita Alencar. We move on. Now these are the type of fights that I'm talking about. We got Crafty Unk versus Prospect. Max Griffin versus Victor Valenzuela. Max Griffin's a crafty vet. This is a crafty vet pick. You know, slight underdog. I got Max Griffin. I think that he's gonna win this one. I think that he's gonna craft this one up, even though he's coming off a loss. And I know Victor Valenzuela. I think he's a Dana White Contender Series guy, if I'm not mistaken. I know this is his debut. But I mean, Max Griffin, he's always been this crafty unk gatekeeper in the welterweight division, and I think that he's gonna defend his throne, and I think that Max Griffin is gonna craft out. I think he'll have a 30-27 dominant decision. 30-27. I think that he's gonna show levels against Victor Valenzuela. You know, I think he was a Contender Series guy. I don't know. I haven't seen him on the Contender Series, but I think I remember someone with his name, or some name like Valenzuela showing up. You know, he's from Chile. I've seen a few Chile guys in the Contender Series. But, you know, Max Griffin, he's a crafty unk. I think he's going to defend that title, and he'll win by decision. That's my pick. We move on. Now, this fight was added recently to the card. Francis Marshall versus Lucas Brennan. Francis Marshall, he did just fight at Mexico City. He won by submission. It was a rear naked choke submission, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was against a pretty bad bantamweight or lightweight. But you know, Francis Marshall, he's got really nice jiu-jitsu, good transitions. Lucas Brennan's a bit of a blob at lightweight. Not blob as in fat or anything, but you know, he's just kind of a jobber, I think, in the UFC. He's just you know, he hasn't fought in the UFC before, so I don't know why I'm saying he's a jobber in the UFC. But I know this is his debut, but you know, he hasn't looked like, I've done some research, he hasn't looked very good in his fights. So I think that Francis Marshall, he's going to submit him. I think this is going to be a round one submission with relative ease for Francis Marshall. He's going to submit himself as a mid-tier prospect in the lightweight division. If he were to ever make a jump up the lightweight ranks and somehow fight some like number 8 through 10 ranked guy, he's getting blobbed. Like he's like this guy would get shown insane levels by Gamrot, at any point in his career he would get shown insane levels by Gamrot, insane levels by Benny Dariush. You know, this guy's not, he's okay on the feet, but I don't think he's enough to chin even Benny Dariush, you know. Next week we'll talk about Benny Dariush's fight. Rest in peace, Dariush, to say the least. But, you know, I got Francis Marshall crafting out a round one submission here. This is a nice addition to the card. This guy added last second. It's nice. Just another one for Francis Marshall, I think, would be good. We move on. Rafael Filho versus Cody Durden. Now, we want to talk about a real jobber. Cody Durden is the definition of a jobber in the UFC. This guy I don't know why he's still in here. It's something about the Codys, the Cody Brundages, the Cody Durdens. People forget, man. Cody Durden's a marauder. I'm playing, man. I have no clue how this guy's still in the UFC. You know, I guess he just gets by enough to stay a bantamweight in the UFC somehow. Who knows what connections he's got behind the scenes. But Rafael Filho, he's got solid jiu-jitsu, solid grappling, decent on the feet. I think he'll get. I don't know. I don't even know if I see him finishing Cody Durden. Let's look at the finishing stats. Yeah, I think he's going to submit Cody Durden with relative ease. I think that this is going to be another submission, 2 submissions in a row on the card. Yeah, I mean, you got to get Cody Durden out of the UFC. We got to have some standard for these guys. I know Rafael Filo's, this is kind of a test for him because he's moving up in weight, but I just think that you got to get guys like this out of the UFC. Like, you got to get a guy like Cody Durden out of the UFC. We got to make some type of standard for what's good enough to be in the UFC. I don't think Cody Durden's good enough to be in the UFC. That's just me speaking as a fan. Obviously, I don't have anything against Cody Durden personally, but I just don't think he's good enough to be in the UFC. A guy like him, a guy like Brundage, a guy like Antricio Tulio, however you say his name. Or I don't even know if that's his name, but you know who I'm talking about, Mackenzie Dern's ex-boyfriend. But you gotta get him out of the UFC. I think Rafael Filho gets a round 1, maybe round 2. I think it's gonna be round 2 submission. Round 2 submission. I'm being generous to Cody Durden here. Round 2 submission for Rafael Filho. We move on. Mayra Bueno Silva. This is a mouthful. Versus Michelle Montague. Now, Mayra Bueno Silva is on a Tony Ferguson type run right now. 4-fight losing streak. Ever since she fought the big bad Raquel Pennington, who knows how she was champ. Now that we got Kayla Harrison, just how good is Juliana Pena, folks? I mean, come on. How is Mayra Bueno Silva fighting for the title, and how is Raquel Pennington the champ? How do you lose to Raquel Pennington as a women's bantamweight? I guess the women's bantamweight division is getting kind of better now. We got Michelle Montague. She's undefeated prospect, coming off a win. I think that she's gonna blob Mayra Bueno Silva. Probably, I think that she'll submit Bueno Silva. I don't think this is going to be a decision. I was going to say just a blob decision, 30-27, 29-28 type fight. I think Michelle Montague is going to get a submission. I think Mayra Bueno Silva is going to extend that loss streak to 5, and you got to cut her from the UFC too. Come on, we got to have some type of standards with these gals here. We got to have some type of standard with our fighters here. Okay. All right. Yep. Michelle Montague, round 2 submission again. 3 submissions in a row on the card. We move on. True banger right here. For those who know, this is a true banger. Jackson McVey versus Cedric Dumas. Oh, brother. What to do here? I just feel like Cedric Dumas is going to win this. Because he's got, even though he does give up, this is his last chance in the UFC. I think we'll see a little bit more motivated Cedric Dumas here. He's got some good takedown entries. He does have some decent wrestling. As decent as you can get for low-level UFC fighter that probably shouldn't be in the UFC. He has decent wrestling, but he's just real plotty on the feet. I think that Jackson McVey could probably beat him up on the feet. I don't know. Jackson McVey is quite terrible too, to be honest with you. Both of these guys coming off a loss. Last chance for Cedric Dumas though in the UFC. If this isn't the last chance, then I don't know what is. If this guy loses, you got to cut him. McVey loses, we could start having that conversation. Cedric Dumas, he has a 2-inch reach advantage. I don't think that's going to play much of a factor because, he's not going to be trying to strike with McVey, to be honest. But yeah, I think Cedric Dumas is going to craft out a 29-28 decision. He's going to win. This is probably going to be, it's either going to be a boring fight or a scrap. Like, maybe Cedric Dumas comes out here winging these big meaty hooks. Maybe he's going to come out here winging. But I don't know. I think that he's going to stay safe. He's going to stick to the plan, and I think that he's going to blob Jackson McVey to a 29-28 decision. Jackson McVey might hurt him in round 1 or round 2, take a round off him just based off damage. I think Dumas might get cut open at one point in the fight, but I'm not going to spend too much longer breaking this one down. This is a fight of people who are on their last leg in the UFC. These guys both coming off. It's the reason I say this for Jackson McVey is because you look at his last 2 fights, he doesn't look very good. He doesn't look UFC level. When you see a guy that doesn't look UFC level, maybe you give him a few fights to get accustomed to the UFC, but at the same time you got to kind of have some type of standard. And this would also help with paying the fighters that deserve to be paid more as well. So, helps with money distribution just to kind of limit the roster down, I think. Maybe get a few less of these Apex cards in here. We have too many cards. Spend too much money, I know Apex doesn't cost that much money. That's why they have so many cards in the Apex. But, anyways, Cedricus Dumas, 29-28 decision. He stays in the UFC somehow. We move on. So let's go. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I had some brain fog there. All right. Headliner of the prelims. We got Rodolfo Vieira versus Eric McConico. I got Rodolfo Vieira. I think that I think that it'll submit McConico. Rodolfo Vieira, he has pretty good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a crafty unk. Even though he's got a 4-inch reach discrepancy, I don't think that's going to play much of a factor. I think he will. I was going to say craft him out, get a decision, crafty unk. There's so many crafty vets on this card. This is the card of the crafty vets and the prospects. They're like prospects against each other, 2 guys that are terrible like Cedricus Dumas and Jackson McVey, and then you got the crafty unks, and then you got the prospects against each other. This is not a bad card. This is underrated, This is pretty good for Apex Slop. But anyways, I think that Rodolfo Vieira is probably going to get a submission win. Looking at the stats, I didn't realize how much of a finisher this guy was. Yeah, I think he will submit McConico. McConico's not a very good fighter in UFC standards. Yeah, I think this is going to be a submission win for Rodolfo Vieira. Okay, we move on. First fight of the main card. I actually like this. I like this here. Heavyweight bout. We got Buchecha versus Ryan Spann. Buchecha's like the representative of heavyweight BJJ. Like this guy. He's got pretty good jiu-jitsu. I don't know who his last fight was against, but yeah, it was a draw, and I remember watching this. This was a early prelim banger. Wasn't a banger at all. This guy was just laying in guard pretty much, trying to throw up some submissions. Couldn't get any submissions. He was fighting a blob. He's not that blobby himself, but he was fighting a blob and he wasn't able to get a submission. It was a draw. I think he won that fight, but I forgot who it was against again. Let's check who he fought. He fought Kennedy in Czechsku. Okay, that's who it was. Okay. Yeah, I did think he won this, but at the same time, he didn't do much damage. A draw doesn't boil my blood. The fact that it was a draw. But yeah, he's okay. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's kind of small for heavyweight, to be honest. He's 6'2". He's got a decent reach. Ryan Spann, however, Spann's been on a resurgence. This isn't the light heavyweight Ryan Spann that we used to know. This is this guy. He was losing to some jobbers and beating some jobbers in light heavyweight. And now he's coming for all the jobbers in the heavyweight division. So his last fight was a pretty nice submission win. It was he looked a lot better in it. He does look a lot better at heavyweight. I think he'll beat Buchecha. I don't see him submitting Buchecha, to be honest. I think that this will be a knockout on the feet. I think that he's going to try to keep it on the feet. And, there's always going to be that submission threat, the takedown threat. Buchecha has good takedown entries. He has a good high crotch, a good blast double. No, he's not really a blast double type of guy. He's more of a sweep you inside trip, high crotch. Ryan Spann's more of the blast double type of guy. But I think Ryan Spann, he's going to knock him out on the feet. He's got, good enough work on the feet to knock out Buchecha. I do think on the regional scene, Buchecha did get knocked out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I mean, Ryan Spann, I think he's going to win by knockout. I think he's going to flatline him. I might be wrong. This might just be another blob decision, but I don't know. I do know. I think this is going to be a Ryan Spann. This is going to be a Ryan Spann win for sure. The question is whether it's going to be a knockout or not, or whether somehow Ryan Spann just takes him to the ground and submits him, which could be possible because we don't know about this Buchecha guy's takedown defense yet. I think that Ryan Spann's going to win. I would favor him in this fight. Okay, we move on. Montel Jackson versus Raoni Barcelos. I like this fight in the Apex. I like this. Montel Jackson, I don't know why he's ranked. I think he beat Pedro Munoz, but that's the only reason that he should be ranked. He lost to 2025 Davison Figueiredo. I mean, it was by split decision, but it shouldn't have been a split decision. It should have been a clear 29-28 decision. Figueiredo won that. Montel Jackson's not ranked material. Raoni Barcelos is. I know he's a 38-year-old prospect in the bantamweight division, but he's on like a 5-fight winning streak now, and he's beat Peyton Talbot. He just beat the big bad Cody Garbrandt, which is, doesn't mean much. I forgot who his last fight was against. Ricky Simone, so that's a decent win. That's like outside the rankings, but yeah, Ricky Simone's a pretty decent win, especially. Last year, Ricky Simone, now that he's taken more damage, he's a little bit worse, a little more plotty. He was lighter on the feet last year. But yeah, I think Raoni Barcelos, I think he's going to take down Montel Jackson, maybe submit him. I don't know. I don't think this will be a submission win for Raoni Barcelos. I think that this will just be a lay and pray, maybe some ground and pound here to keep it moving. I think this will be a quite boring fight. I don't see Montel Jackson working his way back up. I know he is quite lengthy. He can use the cage. But Raoni Barcelos, he does have that dominant grappling. We saw the type of grappling that Peyton Talbot put on display against Henry Cejudo, and Peyton Talbot couldn't get up from the grip of Raoni Barcelos. So, I think that Raoni Barcelos is going to absolutely dominate Montel Jackson. It'll be interesting to see where he. Obviously, if he wins this fight, which I do believe that he will be like number 14 in the division. But he should be probably higher, considering he beat Peyton Talbot, who's ranked number 11, right? I don't know. It's interesting. It's just it'll be interesting to see who he beats once he's ranked. And he doesn't really have much time, so he's got to kind of get going. He's got to have a few more fights this year, just because he's pushing 40, But yeah, Raoni Barcelos wins. He crafts up another crafty young decision. Montel Jackson, not very much ranked material when I watch his fights. He didn't do much against Davison Figueiredo. He kind of just circled on the back foot and threw a jab every now and then. But I think that Raoni Barcelos is going to be ranked by the end of the night, or by Tuesday, kid. What? What's the question? Oh yeah, we make these fights on Tuesday, kid. We ain't making no decisions until Tuesday, kid. All right, that's not a good Dana impression. Got to do that one in the mirror a few more times. Anyways, we move on. Oh my days, it's Davey Grant, mate, versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. Oh my gosh, this Davey Grant pick he's just looking at me with his 90-degree angle jaws. This just looks like a crafty Davey Grant TKO, doesn't it? This just looks like a crafty Davey Grant opponent that he's just gonna craft up and TKO. He's gonna pop the jab, and then Adrian Luna Martinetti, he's gonna blitz in. Then he gets a 2 to the face like Sean O'Malley, and then Davey Grant hops on him and then hits him with the bloody ground and pound. And he's turning back the clock. I just don't think it's gonna happen though. That's where I'm conflicted in this one. I think that Adrian, I'm breaking up these Apex slop fight. This is not a slop fight. This is not an Apex slop fight. This probably should have been on the Evloev Murphy card in London, to be honest with you, considering that Davey Grant is English. But I think that Adrian Luna Martinetti, he's not just a Dana White Contender Series guy who you're just going to put against Davey Grant just to get him a win. Adrian Luna Martinetti, Contender Series, he had a war with Peter Volodin. Volkdeen, he fought on the early prelims of the Canada card, which was absolute slop. Never. What is Hunter Campbell doing? That card was horrible. I mean, it actually didn't deliver that bad, but like none of the fights meant anything except for Jordan and Gilbert Burns retiring and Mike Malott gets a ranking spot. That's it. That's really it. That's all the card had. That's all the card had. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Peter Volkdeen, he's not terrible, but at the same time, he's a very, very small bantamweight. And Adrian Luna Martinetti, he wasn't able to finish him, which isn't a bad thing. Peter Volkdeen is super tough. He's like a Timu Petr Yan. He's literally Timu Petr Yan with no striking defense. So yeah, I mean, that was the thing about his fight with Peter Volkdeen is he fought somebody with no striking defense. Davey Grant does have some striking defense, but what Adrian Luna Martinetti showed in that fight is that he wasn't really picking his shots. And somebody who's kind of going to brawl with Davey Grant, I think that if Davey Grant at his age of 40, he the man's 40 years of age, yeah. I had to, but like Davey Grant, the 40-year-old man and the 40-year-old man in the bantamweight division. The 40-year-old man in the bantamweight division, he's not going to like someone scrapping with him. He's not going to like somebody, and especially a young guy like Adrian Luna Martinetti, who's going to scrap with him, who's going to, blitz him, who's going to act like DDP and throw some wild hooks at him, maybe fall into a takedown. Adrian Luna Martinetti, he's not like that. But I mean, he's got good boxing. He's got pretty good kicks from what I saw. I think Adrian Luna Martinetti gets round 1 TKO. I think he does this while he's fresh. And Davey Grant tries to scrap back and he leaves his chin open. And then Adrian Luna Martinetti, he capitalizes on it, jumps on him, ground and pound. And it's going to be a brutal Davey Grant TKO. Unk doesn't need to hang up the gloves yet. I mean, he's still pretty good, but just give him cans. Don't give him guys like this, man. Come on. Respect Davey Grant. Just give him some cans. Give him some cans to beat up on. Come on. I mean, yeah, Adrian Luna Martinetti, he's going to be a good prospect eventually, but I mean, yeah, I think that Davey Grant's going to get TKO'd, sadly. Okay, we move on. Rafa Garcia versus Alexander Hernandez. Rafa Garcia, he has good boxing. His last fight was on the Noche card, Lopez Silva. So September 13th. Yeah, that was his last fight. He fought Jared Gordon. Yeah, he fought Jared Gordon. People forget, man. Jared Gordon beat Paddy Pimblett. He actually, I don't think he beat Paddy. I think it was a close fight though. Yeah, Rafa Garcia, he's got pretty good boxing. He's actually very small for lightweight. He is very small for lightweight. Alexander Hernandez, average size lightweight. He chinned Chase Hooper in his last fight, which isn't aging that well. I think Alexander Hernandez on a 3-fight win streak, if I'm not mistaken. But excuse me. Yeah, I think Alexander Hernandez is gonna. I think he'll win a 29-28 decision. I think this will be a good scrap. This will be quite a good fight. I think this will be like, the 3-round war that's going to win fight of the night on this card. I think that this card might be a little bit of a nothing burger. There's going to, all the finishes are going to be like Davey Grant getting finished and then a bunch of submissions, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think Alexander Hernandez, I think he'll get a 29-28 decision. I think this will be a pretty good scrap. Alexander Hernandez, I mean, he's looking pretty good. I think that had the fight with Michael Johnson and him hadn't fallen out on UFC 324, I think that he would have beat Michael Johnson. I think he would have chinned him, actually. But yeah, I mean, I think that Alexander Hernandez is going to win this. I think he has better boxing than Rafa Garcia. I think he's better at almost everything than Rafa Garcia. I mean, this is just, I don't know how he's such a slight favorite though. I think he should be a bigger favorite than this, in my opinion. Rafa Garcia does have a good record and he's coming off a win, but I got Alexander Hernandez. No more explaining from me. We move on. Co-main event. Riveting co-main event. riveting. Oh my days. What a banger put on by the UFC. What a banger. I mean, come on. This is I guess I get how this is significant in the women's bantamweight division because we got number 3 versus number 11. This might actually be a pretty entertaining women's bantamweight fight. You know, Jocelyn Edwards, her last fight, she got a submission, which was she slammed. Basically, she was sitting in full guard, and then she picked her opponent up. I forgot who her opponent was. Let's check. Oh, Nora Cornell. Nora Cornell. So she broke Nora Cornell's shoulder by picking her up in her own guard and slamming her. And she broke her shoulder, popped her shoulder, dislocated, who knows, did something to her shoulder, and she was visibly screaming in pain on the ground. And Jocelyn Edwards, she almost had the TKO, and then she just decided to go for a rear naked choke finish and tapped her out. And she brutally injured Nora Cornell, and she does get finishes. Jocelyn Edwards does get finishes. Let's see how many finishes she has. It looks like she has a lot of finishes. And then Norma Dumont is actually pretty good. She's a pretty good grappler. I think that she'll try to mix in the wrestling on Jocelyn Edwards. I think that Jocelyn Edwards is going to sprawl a lot of Norma Dumont's takedowns, though. I think that she's going to shut down the grappling of Norma Dumont, to be honest. I think that... Oh, I'm really breaking this one down, am I? Yeah. Jocelyn Edwards is going to win, I think, by TKO. I think that she's going to blitz Norma Dumont, and then it's going to be too much for her, and then Norma Dumont's going to try to shoot a lousy takedown, and then Jocelyn Edwards is going to sprawl it. Norma Dumont's going to stumble, and it's going to be a TKO finish. Maybe Jocelyn Edwards finds like an arm triangle or a Von Flue choke at the end of the sequence. But yeah, Jocelyn Edwards, she's actually quite good. Could be a title challenger in the future. She's making a revival of her career. There you go. Move on. Moving on to the main event. This is actually, I don't think this is... I think that this is going to be a quite boring fight, to be honest with you. But, it is interesting. This is a very interesting fight. Both of these guys are pretty evenly matched, to be honest with you. Aljo... Aljo, he's gotten better on the feet, he did beat Brian Ortega on the feet, and Brian Ortega was just submissively backing up the whole time. Clear 50-45 from Aljo, by the way, for anyone who ever wants to try and argue about that one. Aljo, even though he is a quite small featherweight, he is very strong. He is very strong. Like when he gets a hold of you, he'll usually take you down. He'll hook the leg, run the body lock, get you the canvas. Aljo, he's quite strong. Yusuf Zalal, people think he's this grappler. He is dangerous on the ground. He submitted the big Josh Emmett. The big bad Josh Emmett, 40-year-old Josh Emmett. People forget, man, Josh Emmett was a marauder. Josh Emmett does have a lot of power, but, that's if he connects. You put him against someone like Vallejos, a real featherweight contender, he's going to fold like he did. Vallejos is just going to roll under his big meaty hooks. He's just going to roll under the big meaty hooks, and then he's just going to rip you to the body, and then he's going to pull off this crazy finishing sequence on you where he drops you 5 times. That's a real prospect like Kevin Vallejos. You put Kevin Vallejos against one of these guys, Kevin Vallejos is going to chin him immediately. Maybe not immediately. It's going to be a crazy, brutal sequence. He'll definitely chin Aljo. Yusuf Zalal is going to take a little longer. That's more of a play with your food type of situation for Kevin Vallejos. But, Yusuf Zalal, he does have quite good body kicks. He's a little bit, he's not too rangy. He's a pretty tall featherweight. He's 5'10". He's got a decent reach, 72. He is actually quite rangy for a featherweight. So he is rangy. He can, he's not that good at distance control, though. He isn't real jabby and teepy like Sean Strickland, where, there's no way you're going to blitz him because he's just going to move away from you and you're going to get exhausted trying to chase after him, like, I mean, Yusuf Zalal, yeah, he's got good body kicks. He's got good, he's got good kicks for the most part, decent boxing. He's dangerous on the ground. I just think Aljo's going to definitely get a hold of him, and from there, it's going to be really bad for Yusuf Zalal. I just think that eventually, maybe in the second round, maybe it's not in the first round, maybe it's going to take a little bit of a long time, like Movsar and Murphy, where he takes 3 rounds to do that, which was really strange that Movsar had to wait that long to get a takedown when the opportunities were presenting themselves for Movsar. But anyways, I think that Aljo will probably latch onto Zalal earlier than Movsar did to Murphy. And with that being said, I think that he's got to watch out for Zalal's submissions that he may throw up in full guard. Like Zalal may throw up a full guard, or not a full guard, an arm bar in full guard. But I mean, yeah, he might throw up a triangle choke. He might try something like that. But I think Aljo's pretty good at getting out of those positions. He's a stocky wrestler. Even for the featherweight division, he's strong. As I mentioned before, he's not terrible on the feet. So if it's on the feet, and he obviously has the offensive wrestling, grappling threat. I think he'll be just fine on the feet with Yusuf Zalal. There's no real knockout threat with Yusuf Zalal here. I think Aljamain Sterling. I think that maybe Zalal will take a round off him based on damage. I just think that Aljo's gonna. I think that he's just gonna blob him, to be honest with you. I think he's gonna try for some submissions. Aljo's got underrated BJJ, to be honest with you. He's got underrated jiu-jitsu. See how many submissions he has. More submissions than I thought. Yeah, more submissions than I thought from Aljo. But he's got decent ground and pound. I think he'll cut Zalal open. But I think this is gonna be a domination. I think Zalal will take a round off him probably. I think this is gonna be a 49-46. I think this is a close fight depending on how you think about it. But the way I see it, I see Aljo winning a 49-46 decision. He's gonna latch on to Zalal and he's gonna take down Zalal. He's gonna I think that he'll get some type of high crotch. I think he'll blitz him with a few punches. I think he'll throw some big hooks, and then he's gonna throw up probably high crotch. High crotch. Aljo's not like that double leg. Run you over. Yeah. He's not Ryan Spann. He's not. I don't think Aljo's not like that double leg type of guy. Like he'll enter in with a double, and then he'll hold you against the fence, and then he'll switch to a body lock, hook the leg, and sweep you under. Get you to canvas. But yeah, Aljo's basically going to do that. I know his game plan. I don't know. I don't know his game plan, but I'm pretty sure that his game plan is just going to be to latch on to Zalal, hold on to the body lock, hold on, get a sweep single. Zalal did get taken down 5 times by Topuria. And, I mean, Topuria is probably a better pound-for-pound wrestler than Aljamain Sterling, in my opinion, just because of the Greco-Roman style, just because, his base is wrestling. He's been wrestling since he was, 4 years old. He just doesn't choose to use it as much as he could, But, yeah, Aljo wins a decision. And after this, they put him against Diego Lopez. They put him against Yair. They put him against anybody like that. I think he's getting beaten by them. And not Yair. No, I think he beats Yair. Yair is way overrated, and Yair needs to take a fight. He'll take Gene's. I think they're going to make him fight Gene Silva, and he's going to get brutalized by Gene Silva. I think Yair gets chinned by Gene Silva. I think Yair gets chinned by Gene Silva. But, yeah, I think that, they'll do Aljo probably versus Diego Lopez, and I think he'll get slept by Diego Lopez. And then after that, he's going to be on a downfall, might retire. He's just not going to touch gold again. That's my point. They're not going to have Aljo fight Volk, probably. They're never going to have Aljo fight Volk unless they really want to be nice to Volk and his retirement fights Aljo. Okay, we're not going to give you a killer like Gene Silva. We're not going to give you a guy like Kevin Vallejos who has the real threat to knock you out. And because Volk's chinny, Volk is very chinny. And the reason that he could recover against Diego Lopez is because Diego Lopez doesn't have the one-hitter quitter in his hands like Kevin Vallejos does, or like Gene Silva kind of does. You know, Diego Lopez just has a crazy chin. That's why he was able to withstand all of Gene Silva. You know, so anyways, Aljo gets it done. 49-46 decision. There you go. Yeah. I mean, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. I'm streaming live on Saturday. Join the stream. Goodbye.